See. Please welcome Matthew Daddario and Dominic Sherwood. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
I'm glad we got to see your video today, and and not the originals, right? Are you guys happy to see them? All right, so take a couple pictures and then put your cameras down because you guys paid to be here. This is a moment for you.
Sea of phones.
It is. It is. And we want this to be an intimate experience for you guys. So take a last picture. Then at the end, we'll give a photo op, right? That'll be a good trade-off. Welcome, you guys. Did you have any idea that the Shadowhunters fan base was so massive in Australia?
I'm finding out that, I guess a lot of people I've met, here have just started watching Shadowhunters recently. I guess it wasn't available to you. When did it become available? Like how long ago? I've gotten a bunch of answers. So since the beginning. Oh, well then, yeah, of course. I guess no one's corrected me this whole time. So I guess there are a lot of people here though who have just started watching it. So I guess it's kind of surprising, and I hope it grows.
Well, it certainly shows no signs of slowing down. Even, I mean, the huge Save Shadowhunters campaign and everything like that. The fan base is super behind you guys. Dominic, what can we expect from Jason 3B? I mean, you're down and down.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really get better. I'm trying not to spoil anything today because I got yelled at yesterday because I spoiled things
so
twice.
bad yesterday.
I mean, it gets worse.
Always gets worse.
Always gets worse.
We talked about this yesterday, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's just, the show could be titled like, how miserable can we make Jace? What can we take from him? How can we harm him? They're all sitting in the writer's room. They're like, okay, now how do we ruin Jace's life?
Now let's put him in a mask.
Yeah.
Let's do that for a bit.
Oh, man.
Well, do you feel like, I mean, you obviously know, without any spoilers, I'm not asking for any secrets, you can tell me those later in the green room, but do you feel that there's going to be redemption? Are you going to, is everyone going to be happy with the wrap-up of your character?
Well, it was really tricky, and we touched again on this yesterday, that we had sort of three books worth of stimulus to try and cram into these last two episodes, because we had finished season 3 with a view towards continuing it onwards, and then obviously found out afterwards. So it was tricky. I think the writers actually did a really great job at essentially an impossible task.
Yeah, we gotta give them a huge amount of credit for 2 episodes that they had to write very quickly and wrap up all these loose ends in an effective way, and it's actually really tremendous.
Yeah, they do a really good job, and I think people are going to be really happy with it. Well, I hope they are, as much as we were able to do. I think people are going to enjoy it.
Absolutely. And Matthew, I think this is so interesting. I learned that your first trade isn't necessarily acting, but you're an economist, and you have studied economy, and you're one of those.
I don't get to have the title of an economist because I didn't move into that profession.
Okay.
That's what I studied in school.
But tell me a little bit about how you made the transition from studying economy to acting. And don't worry, we have all day.
Okay. I mean, because I could spend all day. I guess it's really what it was. It was the right choice for me. This is a very brief version. It was the right choice for me to make this shift. And acting when you first start is depending on the person, can be very scary. And I started taking a lot of classes and realizing how good people were. I mean, it was astonishing. These people all through New York, just amazing actors. And it was intimidating, but it was also inspiring. And that sort of forced me to keep working at it. And still now, I go to classes and I try to improve, and I watch my coworkers and see incredible talents, and I try to get better all the time. And it's really, as a career, it's been like incredibly difficult, obviously, as it is, and it's also been very, very rewarding. And I don't think I would have found quite as much reward if I had taken the route I initially was going to.
So let's go back to, well, I think everybody here, first of all, is glad that you chose the acting route because you're amazing on the show. Let's go back to when you guys were both cast after you've gotten the parts. It's a very, very physical show. So what is the training like before you guys start shooting each season?
Yeah, the training is it evolved a lot when we hit season 2 because there was a new team brought in, and I think as is evidenced in the show, there was a huge change between what we were doing physically season 1 versus what we were doing season 2. But the treatment was kind of the same. We just worked a lot harder season 2 and season 3. You sort of start with a month of prep and you get into as good a physical shape as you can, and then you try and maintain that over the course of the show, whilst sort of continually learning these new fight scenes and training in the individual martial arts that you need to know for the shows, like the taekwondo and the boxing and kickboxing and Kali and all of these different martial arts that we had to learn, and then especially season 2, like learning the new swords and the new weapons and all of that sort of stuff and coming to terms with them. So we train sort of with most of our free moments when we're on the show.
There's also another thing that I don't think a lot of people think about, which is that a big part of the physicality is how you move. And each character has these qualities that are very distinct, that are not really the actor themselves, qualities. Jace kind of has a certain swagger to him. Obviously, Harry does a tremendous job with his movement, and obviously as a dancer, and he just has a incredible ability to move with this certain flow. And they actually had somebody come in and teach us this movement. Were you there for that day, the movement day? And teach you, how to walk and make yourself appear more militaristic, these kind of things that you don't really think about all the time. But it changes you. It changes how you think. And we had a lot of fun sort of working on that over the years. That's really kind of an interesting element of it.
Yeah, changing your center of gravity, changing like the way you carry yourself as a person versus.
Well, yeah, like the big difference between like even the physicality of Jace and Alec is you are the sort of the born and bred like soldier who wants to follow the rules, who stands in such a way. He stands in such a way, like he's very like respectful of kind of the system, at least at the beginning. Whereas Jace is a little more like, nah, not into it.
A little more casual.
Yeah.
Shall we say? Okay, we're going to open it up for questions. If you have a question, raise your hand. I know you guys have tons of questions. And let me ask you this. When you guys first read the script, the pilot, what was your how did you wrap your head around, the concept of Shadowhunters?
The first script was tough because there are things going on that not only were not really covered in the books, but they just kind of happen. And it was written in such a way that you kind of needed to see a lot of it. Like the shape-shifting demons, you remember seeing that, or like reading that, and then being like, I have no idea what's going on. I don't know, is it still the lady?
Also,
is it the man? I have no idea what's happening. And then we saw it happen, and I was like,
right.
That's what they meant. Okay, now I get it.
And there also was, we spent a lot of more days than I think was expected on that first episode, and there's a lot of things changing because, you can prepare as much as you think you need, but you never really can get enough preparation for something like this. And a lot of it was kind of being learned in the action of filming, especially for the first few episodes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would think you'd need to like create some sort of map for yourself about all the different components.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we followed it for a while.
That's great. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. My question is for Dom.
Okay.
Which one of your tattoos hurt the most?
I'm not going to say that one.
She won't tell anyone.
Probably my ribs. I think my ribs hurt quite a bit. I actually tried to quit halfway through my ribs because it was that painful. Yeah. And the tattoo artist was like, because it's a yin and yang. And the tattoo artist was like, well, if you stop now, you're going to have a yin and look like an idiot for the rest of your life. And I was like, all right, you're right. Keep going. Let's go. Get it done.
How long did it take?
Like 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
Tattoos take that long?
Sometimes, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
8 hours?
You can do sessions that take 3 or 4 days.
I'm not doing anything for 8 hours.
Hi. Go ahead and stand up.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hi.
How you find Brizzy so far?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
Brizzy.
Yeah, I call it Brizzy.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
All right, Brizzy. I love it.
Yeah. Can Dom, can you do an Aussie accent, and can Matt do Dom British accents?
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there.
There's no good way for this to end for anyone.
And we get asked this a lot, and I'm never going to do it. Because it's not one of these things that works out well. And the way I'm going to do it is to make fun of Dom. And it's just going to upset Dom, and I don't know any other way to do it. I'm not doing it. Working for Nike over here.
Thank you. Nice try, though. Good job. All right, next question right here.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is for both of you. Besides your own character, who's your favorite character?
Ooh, favorite character or favorite to play? Like,
Both.
oh, okay.
Okay, so your favorite character other than yourself.
My favorite character is Magnus. And I think...
Yeah, but favorite to play also has got to be Magnus.
No, I don't. I think...
It's Harry. It's Harry.
It's what Harry does. Yeah, I wouldn't ever, having seen what he does, I would never want to try and step into those shoes because it would just never be as good.
No.
Ever. Not in a million years. I think a fun character to play, though, would be Meliorn. All the armor and all of that stuff. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But again, Jade does too good of a job of it.
It's hard to really imagine any of you guys swapping.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I attach too much to what the people have done with the character. It's true.
Yeah. All right. Hi.
I just have to say I love Malik.
Hey.
I wanted to know if you could be any other downworlder creature, who would you be?
Oh, man. We discuss this every now and
length,
then.
yeah.
There are negatives and positives for pretty much all
of them.
characters, except for warlocks, which live forever and have
forever is not
magic
necessarily
powers.
a good thing, though, is it?
But they can die. It's not. They're not like.
Yeah, we don't really cover this very often, but there are threats that will kill warlocks, because otherwise, why would any of them ever be worried about anything?
No, they wouldn't.
It's walk through life being like, well, you can't kill me, so it's fine. Just send in the warlocks. Like, they'll figure everything.
Send them back
we
in.
kind of do that anyway, because they're so powerful.
We
don't fix any problem. Like the show Shadowhunters, the Shadowhunters don't fix the problems ever.
Yeah, no.
Ever.
No,
it gets
no.
really bad, and then we're like, who can help? Magnus?
Get a warlock
Again?
in here.
Yeah.
Solve the problem. And then we're like, and I say this a lot, we're like, okay, what's the worst idea possible? Let's summon a greater demon into the Institute. And then we say, okay, it didn't work the first time. Well, let's try it again. And we do it, 3 times?
3-4 times. Doesn't end well ever.
So I guess the answer is warlock, but it seems like sort of like being like, yeah, I'd like to be a god. So I'm going to go with werewolf because I think the camaraderie is neato.
It's a good answer. Thank you. Hi. Go ahead and stand up. There you go.
Hi guys. I also wanted to say I'm a huge Malik fan as well.
Give her a cheer.
I did have a question. In the later books, Alec gets quite sassy. Is that to be expected?
In the later works.
In the later books.
Okay, we're real quick. Well, was I not sassy enough for you? I tried to bring a lot of sass season 1. Season 2, they said, all right, Alec is now sad and angry all the time. And I wasn't allowed to be sassy because the tone of the show changed. But if it was up to me, he would have been sassy all the time. But then they started making Magnus more sassy. But then he was kind of depressed. Yeah, what happened to all the sass?
I don't know, like episode 1 and 2 is super sassy.
All the time
All
with
the
this,
stuff
like,
with Simon, enough.
And then and then when I finally get to, oh wait, have you guys seen me with? No, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
You'll just have to watch
No
and
idea.
see
You'll have to find out if there's more sassiness coming your way.
if he recaptures his sass. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. This is a question for both of you. What has been your weirdest fan experience?
Oh, I just saw that tattoo. Did you see that one of my face?
Oh, where was
And
it?
it's an incredibly done tattoo, but it's my face. And it looks amazing, like really amazing, but it was a bit of a shock because someone sent it to me on my Instagram and I was like, oh, that's a really good drawing. And then had a second look and I was like, I think that might be on a person. Forever.
And it's really good.
It's really good. Like really, really amazing, but that was a bit of a shock that someone would like me enough to want my face on them forever.
What body part was it
Can't
on?
really tell.
Yeah, you can't really. It's like an arm or a leg, I think.
Yeah.
You can't really tell.
That's definitely, that's
Definitely, I don't know if I'd say strangest, but it was definitely up there with the more extreme experiences.
flattering yet,
Yeah.
a little odd.
Yeah.
My strangest, honestly, and this happens every now and then. Somebody is just like, hey, like it might be a bartender saying, and they'll be like, oh, hey, Alec, and I'm like, sup, and they're like, what's your order? I'm like, oh, well that went well, great. So that's kind of a nice one. It happens every now and then. I like that.
Yeah,
one.
that's great. I like that. Thank you. All right, in the back. Hi.
Hi. Oh god, that's loud. Do you expect Malik to stay together for the rest of the show?
What? Okay. What is? Every time.
Also, that's a clever way of asking us, how does the show end? Like, what happens at the end of the show?
You expect them to.
Yeah.
You're right. See, I'm assuming that it's another one of these people asking this question. Is Malik going to end? Is it going to break up? Are they both going to hate each other and move to other sides of the country? No, obviously that's not going to happen. So I think that Dom is right. I think that this is a clever way of trying to get answers, spoilers for the end. So I'm going to tell you.
I did it all yesterday. I'm not doing it again today.
I'm going to give you
I'm not
nothing.
doing it.
You have no idea what's going to happen. It's going to be good. That's all I'm giving you. You have no idea.
I think everybody here wants them to stay together, right?
Do they? Why are they always asking?
Well, it's the fear of the unknown,
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hi.
Did anything in your script push your boundaries?
That's a good question. What pushed
interesting.
you guys?
Yeah, there was. We've definitely had some. Well, I know. I can just speak from my experience where I've had some controversial issues come up through the point of view of Jace, and we do have a real serious conversation with the writers where we say, I don't think that this is necessarily a good idea. And there's so much push and pull that we have with the writers, and we have a good relationship with them. But there are times when, the call is kind of made from above our heads, and we go and we do our thing, whether or not you necessarily agree with it. I think if we ever got to a time where we really didn't want to do something because we didn't think it was the appropriate move, that would be okay, right? We would be able to say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, if there's something, generally it's like, okay, for example, there's two different kinds, depending on what you mean by boundaries. Like, there are things that I suck at. For example, I have to. Oh,
Can't say it.
Okay. Well,
So close, though.
there is
So close.
There is something that it's going to be there, and that pushed my boundaries, and you guys are going to love it.
All right. There you have it. In 3B. Thank you. All right. Next question.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello, I'm a Jason Clary fan.
Controversial. Love it.
My question is a favorite blooper moment on set.
It's always you and me, isn't it? They left a lot of them out because there's just like a constant influx of Matt and I laughing.
Idiocy.
Well, it could be maybe one that didn't even make it on the reel. A behind the scenes.
Yeah, but we spoke about that. We spoke about that at length yesterday, and that was a good one. And then I thought of another one when we went home that was also good, but I can't remember what it was.
The blooper, there's a lot of. Wait.
Can't do it. You know what the funniest ones are?
What? Oh yeah. So
we can't talk about that.
No, I'm going to put it into terms that we can say.
Okay.
when there's sometimes an actor will screw something up, and then it's just a series of curse words, very loud in sequence, and then like immediately turn back and go right back into the character, and then back out with that exact same thing, and it gets very, very funny. The other one is, oh, okay, I love this. Bloopers. Not really a blooper, maybe it is, I'm not really sure. So when you're
Mad had a lot of sugar just before it came out.
When you're that so when you're having a serious conversation in real life, there's not a camera staring at you, and generally when you're doing it on set, you don't pay attention to the camera. However, if you finish a scene by saying, I know exactly what we need to do, and then we all stare, pause, and
Stop.
the camera is over 10 feet away and starts going like this. And you just
have to keep your face, because the instant response is, I know what we need to do.
And then you're like, yeah.
What?
What are you waiting for?
What do we do? Why are we waiting here? Like, the world is constantly in peril, and we take these 7 seconds every time we come up with a plan to stop.
Yeah.
Every time.
Ridiculous.
Also, the one that's good is the slow push in, when the realization when they slow push into
that's
your
what I'm
face.
talking about. That's the camera. That was what I was doing before.
Oh, okay, got it. That's what this was?
Yeah, his hand was the camera.
Is that not clear? It wasn't clear. Right into your face.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's yeah.
They're good ones.
Yeah, thank you. All right, hi.
Hello again. My question is for Dom today. Obviously, you're British.
Winning. So far. I'm not keeping score, but I am.
So, obviously British with a British accent.
Yeah.
Was it hard to get the American accent down?
I can answer this for him.
It's a two-parter. And do you stay in character when filming?
Not in character, no, because I think that can be. I think there are times when that can be dangerous, but I stay in the accent. So when I get picked up to go to work, the accent starts, or when I get in my car to go to work, the accent starts, and then it doesn't stop until I finish, and they call rap at the end of the day, and then I go back home, and I'm British again. The American accent wasn't too hard because so much of what media is in an American accent. So kind of growing up, I grew up mimicking it, and then slowly fine-tuning it, and it was like sort of 2 or 3 movies ago where I decided that actually staying in the American accent is the best way of doing it, because then you'll be talking and you'll hear that something goes wrong in the accent, and then I can hear it before I go back and do my lines, and then I can change it naturally. I can go back and change it, and that's what that sounds like.
Very good. Yes. All right, next question. Hi.
My question is for Matt.
So now it's even again.
I am keeping score, so.
What's it like being able to represent the LGBTQI community?
It's a responsibility. It's a lot of learning, constant learning. That was a big part. Getting to meet a lot of people from all over the world. You know, we got all these people telling their stories, and that's it's the most meaningful element of it, is seeing that. I haven't really discussed this in the past, but I was always really incredibly, one of the saddest things to me was the AIDS epidemic of the 80s. And it really affected me growing up to see that. And then seeing people, meeting some people who have survived through that, and the loss that they experienced is just so overwhelming, that this disease destroyed whole communities. And I know your questions, about this element of it, but to me, seeing that and seeing the people that made it through, and this absolute scourge it was, and then seeing how strong people became afterwards, it's incredibly moving. Just an incredible thing. And I think that I don't know why, but that element of all this has been really just sort of deeply meaningful, and the fact that I get to portray this in some way to help young kids who are coming out to their families that may or may not accept them, and knowing that the world itself still often doesn't, and to be on the good side of that has been really meaningful in my life. It's been a wonderful sort of chapter of my life.
Well, that is really, really well said. But you guys also deserve a lot of credit, because you created a relationship that was just grounded in honesty and very organic and not layered with that as sort of a defining factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fact that it was...
We didn't want to be a cliche or something. I don't know. We wanted to make it so that it was real.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, what advice would you have for anyone who wants to get into the film and television industry?
Don't do it.
It's an old joke. The old joke is don't. Yeah, you have to. We said this yesterday. You have to be ready for with almost absolute certainty. You will not.
It needs to be your dream. Like you need to be so incredibly certain that this is what you want to do, because you're going to spend a lot of your life doing nothing.
And
You're
other
not doing
things.
jobs that you like doing, and there's nothing wrong with doing those jobs. But if it's your dream to be in film and TV, you will do things during your career that you don't necessarily want to do. You don't necessarily see yourself in the future. You'll do jobs that you don't necessarily believe in within the acting, like within your acting career. You're going to push very hard. There's a huge amount of like business that goes on behind the scenes that you don't really understand until you kind of fall into it. You're going to wait around on sets for days. You're going to hours and hours and hours of doing nothing. You're going to get covered in blood and harnessed up and thrown around and lose a tooth.
And those
break
parts
a
are
foot.
fun.
And these are, but the thing is, if it's what you love doing, and I don't think this necessarily just counts for acting. I think this is anything in the world. Like if it's what you love doing and you know that that's what you love doing, then all you can do is keep pushing for it. All you can do is never stop until that's an achievable dream. You know, I always said the same thing, that it didn't really matter what avenue I was necessarily acting in. I enjoy acting. That's what's in my heart. That's my passion. So, you know, if I died at 80 or whatever, you know, in a little theatre in London playing to 50 people every day, but I got to go home knowing that was my job, that I'd achieved my job and that was my living, then I'd die a happy man.
That's great advice. Thank you. And best of luck for your career. Okay. Hi.
Hi. My question's for both of you. If you could be any Disney princess, who would it be and why?
There's a lot of those if you could be questions today.
Interesting.
Oh man. Well, who's got it the best, huh? Who's the best off? You know, because some of those Disney princesses those things don't turn out so great.
Yeah.
Or we don't get the whole experience. We don't really know. There's a lot of...
See, Anna, I think Anna was Frozen, right? Yeah.
Elsa and Anna.
Did you say Anna? Yeah, I'm British. This is how I talk.
Anna?
Yeah. I think she's one of my favorites because she wasn't saved by anyone. She did it on her own. She found her strength through herself. She didn't need to be saved, and I think that's one of the first times Disney had really done that.
What about?
I think it was so interesting. It was so like empowering and important that she
right, because often the princess is being saved by somebody.
Was very kind of,
yeah.
Like,
but what about? Are they making a Mulan movie?
Yeah.
Mulan, if I remember, because I haven't watched that in a long time, but she kind of just...
Oh, she did the same thing. You're right. Yeah.
Takes names, you know?
Yeah.
I like Mulan.
Yeah, Mulan was a good one.
Those are good answers.
There are
Thank
so
you.
many.
There's so many.
Hi.
Hi. My question's for both of you. What was your favorite scene to film with your on-screen love interest?
Ooh. Okay.
Does Nala count as a Disney princess?
Who's Nala?
Nala, the Simba's friend from The Lion King.
No.
Why not?
Yeah, she does apparently.
Yeah.
What am I don't know.
She's pretty neat. Like her. What was the question?
We're going to let him go on. My favorite scene, there's a lot of scenes that turn out best on camera, but a lot of them, especially like the wedding scene, which I know a lot of you love, that was a few days of a lot of people and a lot of work.
That was a lot of work.
A lot of time. So those aren't the most fun to film because you're just like, by the end, you're just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? So actually, one of the things about Harry is that Harry is very clever and he's very, very funny. And there was a scene we did, and we mention this often, as a scene where I guess we're in a little bit of a spat for some reason. And we come in, and Simon calls me on the phone.
Wait.
Are you serious? For real?
What did he say?
No, my God. Okay, wait, no, maybe because I just did ADR for it, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's a funny scene because we got to really play back and forth in this kind of it was almost like banter, and it was really just an enjoyable thing. And we have a lot of those kind of scenes that come up probably in 3B then. And they really were just enjoyable because after all this like this heavy stuff that you guys love. I mean, you love the drama. We got to do this little bits of comedy, and you guys are going to love, because I was mentioning it before, but there's a scene you guys are going to absolutely love, which was past my like boundaries of what I'm capable of being good at, and you guys are going to love it.
Are you sassy in it?
Oh, I am sassy. Yes,
yeah.
No, I am.
Yeah, a little,
in the beginning, I'm sassy.
Yeah, kinda.
All right.
Yeah. What was mine? We had a scene that was. It was really hard work, and it was at the end of a season, and it was cold, and it was wet, and it was a tricky scene, but for whatever reason, it was heavy as well, and it was, it was emotional, and for whatever reason, everything just worked that day. Alan was in it, and it was myself and Kat, and it was just one of those scenes where we all kind of left and went, I think that's exactly what we needed to do today. There was no real, like, a lot of times when you come away and you're like, oh, I wonder if I'd have done that, or if I'd have made this choice instead. And that was the scene at Lake Lynn where Valentine stabs me in the heart with a pocket knife for some reason. Yeah.
A lot of stabbing.
A lot of stabbing in that episode, but that was not necessarily fun to film because I died, but like fun afterwards, like sort of looking back on it.
Like you guys left it all there.
We kind of felt like we'd achieved something that day.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you. All right. Hi.
Hi, my question's for both of you. If you've read the books, which is your favorite and why?
Favorite? Have you guys read the book?
Here's something. Okay, real quick. There's a lot of book series that I read, and I never think about them in terms of the individual books. So I'm trying to think. I usually look at it as a whole, although I guess that's not entirely true.
It's still sort of one story, right?
It's still one story.
It's tricky.
But there's certain storylines that I like more than others.
Yeah.
I don't know isn't there like a new book coming out? Is that the case? What are they? But they're not focusing on the same characters anymore, are they? No, it's all different. So I'm only interested in the scenes where Alec is in them. And everyone else can go eat toast. That's a saying, maybe. So.
First table, we back to 3B, and you turn to us and you're like, died.
Oh yeah, that's not my fault. I wasn't there for the filming of that. We're having a conversation. Sorry.
Yeah.
Only one is into the mic. So I think. Honestly, I'm going to go with the first book because it was the book that I read when we first were starting. Yeah. And then the other ones we start, you're reading as you're going through, but then there's a disconnect between what you're filming and what you're reading. And so the
first one as well was for us the most exciting because we had for me.
Yeah, but it's not very heavy on Alec.
No. Right. But it's, every time you're reading these stories and these lines, you're thinking like, oh, I might do these. I might do these at some point. And then as we jumped to different books for different seasons, we kind of discovered that like little pieces were taken from here, there, and everywhere. So the storylines ended up a little different. But for me, the first one, because it was a real feeling of excitement that we were about to undertake this.
I remember when I read the first one and I found out that I guess Alec had never killed anything before or something like that. Is that the case? Yeah. And I remember, and I went up to McG and I'm like, is Alec is not going to be doing any demon killing? He's like, oh, no. He's going to kill like things all the time. And I was like, oh, great. Oh, that's awesome. Thank God.
Thank you. Hi.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
I want to ask, which scene is more difficult to acting, emotional scenes or sci-fi scenes?
Depends what you mean by difficult, because... I mean, physically, it's more preparation.
And there's a physical demand on your body for some of the physical scenes. Like, obviously, doing a flip once and landing on your butt doesn't hurt so much once, but when you do it 40 times in a day, that's going to start taking a bit of a toll on your body. But for me, again, just for myself, the hardest things that we do are the really, really emotional days where, again, you have to do that emotion again and again and again and find yourself in that place where you're either completely devastated or destroyed or whatever. I mean, we have
Well, the scene where we fought each other, and you
that was
my arm.
That was both.
That was
and in
gross.
season 1 when we did that too.
Yeah. And you do get hurt. Like, there's even little things you don't think about. For example, in real life, if you get down on a knee and your knee's on the ground, your knee's on cement, especially very, solid cement, that's fine for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But then do it for 4 hours. Normally you would shift your position, right? But if you just keep your one knee, because you can't change it because you're being filmed, on the cement, you get a horrible bruise, and it's immensely painful. And then you're in the scene, suffering through this pain, which sounds like nothing. Oh, your leg's on the cement, get over it. Trust me, it's like a little bit of a little torture.
Pretty dreadful, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's dreadful, and then you do the other thing as well is you do the fight
harder.
scenes, and every now and then someone will nick you. And then your
swords were doing it to yourself. Your axes, they were sharp on the end. I would hit the axe. I'm so strong, and you're too weak. And then you're like, oh, and it falls back.
I was talking about when you punched me
in the ear. I did punch him in the ear.
There you go.
But that's because I wasn't aiming for his. I was aiming for his face, but not to hit his face. But then I bailed out and I hit his ear.
So. Then you're also very aware during those scenes that there is a fist that might hit you in the face. Yeah. So instead of reacting like you would normally react, you're reacting like, oh God, he's going to hit me again.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. All right. Next question. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, what is the funniest backstage moment, and who is the biggest prankster in the cast?
Okay, real quick. I want to point something out. Somebody asked earlier, what's the strangest interaction you've had with a fan before? And one of the weirdest things in the world is having somebody stand up dressed as a full skeleton monster and ask you a legitimate question. And it's so peculiar. It's like the person's like, hi, my name's Jim. I work in accounting. Today I am the agent of death. I'm just curious about your finances. So it's interesting. I don't know. It's sort of funny, but I love the outfit. But who's the biggest trouble and the biggest prankster? We discussed this. We don't do a lot of pranks because some people, I don't know who, take it too far.
When? Oh, the Alberto thing?
Yeah, the Alberto thing.
Yeah.
The problem is, everybody's always, and like yesterday, it's like you guys are out for blood. It's like, who did you harm with a prank? I want to know who got hurt.
Who cried? Who cried? We want to know.
Expect what happened to him. And it's just...
Alberto got me back. He got me back good.
Yeah, but Alberto's, he's a young soul, that one. So he's out there getting dangerous. He's like a puppy.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage.
Dangerous.
What was the other part of the question?
Puppy.
The funniest thing to happen backstage? Like off screen, I guess?
Bloopers or, yeah.
Nothing funny ever happens. You just, ever.
Oh, yeah. I taped Cat to her trailer. Yeah, that's right.
Cat to
Yeah.
a trailer.
Cat.
How'd you know about that?
Because it went online.
It was online. Oh, I put like 250 of my headshots in Alberto's trailer. I covered every possible surface of his trailer.
That's a good one.
With my headshot, that was like inside his toilet seat and like under his desk. and then that was like at the end of season 2 when we finished the season, and I was like, how many have you found? He's like, this many. And I'm like, that's about half as many as I've done.
Yeah, there's more.
And then they moved the trailers to another show. And so sure enough, they're like opening doors and like, who's this idiot? Why is this headshot in my trailer? Maybe that's why I've not been working so much.
That's good. Thank you. All right, next question. Hi.
If you were to choose how you would die on the show, how would you die? It's not really
on the
Dom,
show.
Mostly Matt.
How would I choose to die on the show? Okay, it's 14 years in the future.
We both kind of died, eh?
The Institute has moved to the moon. Alec is primary director of moon operations. It also has it's a logistics position. He's basically retired. He's scarred. He's got scars across his face at this point because his healing rune doesn't work on the moon because of this reason. And So there's an attack from a interstellar demon beast, and it's flying above the moon like this, and it has wings, even though that's not how atmosphere works, and or lack of atmosphere works. And he flaps them anyway. He's magic, and he swoops down. And he's going to eat the entire village. And Alec, in this single heroic instance, grabs Jace and throws him at the dragon. And the dragon chokes on Jace. And Alex says, oh, well, that's too bad. And Alec doesn't die, but the dragon does. Does that answer your question? Oh, it was how I die or how he does?
Either way, that was a brilliant answer, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you. All right.
You thought about that before?
No,
it was very good.
Next question. Hi.
Hi. Because it's such a world filled with magic, if you could cross over with another TV series, which one would it be?
Ooh.
Like you. This is one of my favorite ones to think about.
I actually had a thought on this yesterday because someone asked, and I said The Walking Dead. And in reality, the answer would be something like the Teletubbies. So we didn't have to constantly be in peril and people are constantly dying and getting murdered.
Yes.
It would be like the Teletubbies or Sesame Street or something. All I do is learn how to count and learn my alphabet. Like, that's all I need.
It's a very relaxed
That's what I want.
Yeah.
What's the show with the chefs and you get to Chopped? So they all end up on Chopped making different food. Everyone's terrible, but it's like why are you all armed to the teeth? It's like, don't worry about it.
Like, you never know. Thank you.
Play.
All right. Next question. Hi.
If you could cross over... No, that's been asked. Sorry. Which question do you wish you got asked more at conventions?
Look at that. That is like, it's like you go into school and they're like, here, write a paper. And the teacher says, this is a paper. And you go, how would you like this paper written? And then the teacher says, well, here's how, and writes it for you, and you get an A. I don't know. What? You're dodging your responsibility. You had a responsibility to ask a question, and you're dodging it.
My question got stolen.
Was stolen by her?
Yes.
All right.
There was another crossover question.
Oh, man. What do I wish I was asked? What do you want for lunch?
That's a good one. Yeah. Well, you got to raise your hand and then ask
Clever.
him. And be ready to deliver. Hi.
If you could pursue any other career path, what would it be and why?
Another career path.
Well, we know that yours is like Moon Man, Sacrificer of Brother.
That's Alex. That's Alex's future.
Space Cowboy.
That's my answer.
Too late. Already done it. No, I already did it.
I'm the only
Already
person
did it.
saying Space Cowboy. There's only run around yelling Space Cowboy.
You
It's only
shouldn't
a
have let me
common
go
phrase.
first then, mate. Shouldn't have let me go first. Space Cowboy. Done.
That's a good one.
And I would like to be then a person in charge of taking care of baby cats and lions and tigers. And I'll have a big, giant facility, and they'll love me, and they won't let him in because they don't like him because they hate Space Cowboys.
There you go. All right, we have time for 2 more questions. Let's go over here. Hi.
Hi, question for Matt. How would you feel about them adding in, like, at the end of the show, Max Lightwood Bane?
My little... Oh, right. Okay. So... Right, I can't say anything about it. Okay. Oh, I want to answer this question. However, there is an issue. And the issue is that it wouldn't make sense. Right?
Okay, they need to have a sidebar about this.
All right. Okay, look, I'm just going to be straightforward. No, I think I can be, but I don't know. I can't. Look, okay, I'm sorry. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because we're not killing a 10-year-old on TV. We're not going to kill him. It's just not, this show is, it's not Game of Thrones.
Not The Walking Dead.
All right?
Wrong character.
We're not. No, I know that, but in order for that to make sense, it has to be a namesake. And in that case, so, yeah.
All right.
I just gave something away, kind of, but I don't care.
Thank you. All right. And last but not least, hi.
Hi. Do you know any Australian slang? And do you find it, like, strange or weird? Like, understandable as well?
No, man,
Well-
this has been my favorite topic of conversation. And
Brisbane.
Dom's got a whole bit.
You do yours first.
Okay.
Don't steal mine. Though.
I like the followings. What is it? Good dinkum? Fair dinkum. Love it. Very, sounds very 1960s of you. Also, love bin chicken, my favorite. Absolute favorite. Love. Oh, you guys love bin chicken. I love how you take the first syllable of a word and add no to the end of it. That's fascinating, which segues into?
Yeah, like doggo, bottle. Australians, we spoke about this again yesterday, and it's the way you name things is my favorite thing in the world. It's like we need a name for a place that sells bottles of alcohol. Bottle. It also turns out there's already a South Wales in the world, so we need a new name for South Wales. We need New South Wales.
You did it.
It works.
Done.
And I think, like I heard somebody say, call the volunteers, call them volleys, and I'm like, oh, wow, you guys.
Which, by the way, can we give a quick round of applause for all of the people who put
For the
all this
volleys?
together? For all the volleys.
And I'm starting to think, like, do you call Matto or Matty? Not Matto? Can you pretend that you call me Matto? Because in the States we call Matt's Matty as well, but I would love Matto, so I'm just going to say that you all approved of it. Oh, you guys are making no positive response to that.
You guys
Thank
approve of
That's
Matto,
great.
right?
And this is Damo.
Well, but yours sounds kind of neat, and mine sounds like a really sad, unemployed clown.
It really does.
Yeah.
Damo, the unemployed clown.
That can be the spinoff.
There's your future. There's your future right
yeah.
there. You're asking about
Forever
his
and ever.
favorite career future. There it is. Damo, the sad clown.
All right, you guys,
And
we're
on that
out of
note-
time. Did you guys enjoy this hour? Give one more big round of applause for Matthew and Dominic.